All right, hey you guys. It's 6:30. Can you guys hear me? Sorry, I was playing music loud. I went to turn on my camera. I didn't realize the microphone was on too until I started seeing people like bobbing their head. I'm like, can they hear me? Can they hear all this good music? Anyways, I hope you guys are doing good. Thank you guys for joining me for another Zoom meeting. So I dropped a video earlier today about AI influencers basically being pushed and being normalized, and how I feel like a lot of these influencers are being normalized because they want to eventually take over the influencer industry. And one thing with like AI, CGI, deepfake, robots, to me, I put them all in the same category. I don't know if I'm alone in that, but I kind of put them all in the same category. They're non human beings, and they're being controlled by, certain people. So I kind of put them all in the same category, even though some are physical robots like Sophia that you can touch, and others are CGI like Michaela and FN Mika. So they've been causing a lot of controversy.
Yeah,
And huh?
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Uh-huh.
But I am alone right now. Can you put Carissa as co-host? Because there's about 50 people in the waiting room that I have to approve, and Carissa is not co-host.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I took her off. Okay, I'll go ahead and make her co-host. Is Rejoice in here?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
No, Rejoice is
Okay.
not here. I am alone right now in the waiting room.
Okay. All right. I just
I
made
don't think.
her co-host. Oh, we do have a lot of people in the waiting room. Okay.
Yeah, we have a lot of people in the waiting room. But I checked 13 people. Their name I cannot locate on Discord. So there is 13 people that unfortunately I cannot accept.
Okay. That's fine. Okay, so we got people coming in. So anyhow, so the whole AI thing is just really interesting. And I know I did a stream about it maybe like going on 2 years ago, where I was talking about, automation and how a lot of these jobs that people have right now may be obsolete in the future. And while it may have sounded cool, like, okay, having a robotic customer service agent at McDonald's, right? So instead of you having to deal with the nasty cashier at McDonald's, you just deal with the robot. And while that might sound cool at first, think about all those people that are going to be out of work, and what's going to happen to suffice their income if all the entry level or low level jobs are being taken by robots or automation. Then what's going to happen to those people? Then at that point is where people get into conversations of universal income, universal basic income, where, there's not really room for growth. Everybody just kind of makes the same amount of money and things like that. So I want to go ahead and play you guys this video. It's a short, well, the video is long, but I'm just going to play you guys a snippet of it. And basically, it came out 4 months ago, and they're talking about how they have expanded the robots at Amazon. Ironically enough, so the Amazon robots are replacing a lot of people in that particular sector. So this is really interesting. Let me go ahead and set this up for you guys here. So give me just a moment so I can share my screen. Okay.
It took Amazon 6 years to get 100,000 robots working for them in their warehouses. But in just the last 2 years, that number has already doubled to 200,000 robots. Amazon is investing heavily into building their robotics empire, from building a new $40 million robotics lab that is set to open in 2021, to having aerospace engineers working in their robotics division. This video takes a look at Amazon's growing robotics empire. We will look at the different types of robots that are working in the fulfillment centers and how artificial intelligence is being used to predict what you buy before you even buy it. We will also look at the tech Amazon is building to make their human workers work more like the robots, such as a wristband that tells humans where to move their hands. And what does the future hold for robotics at Amazon? Could people be working from home, controlling robots that work in the warehouses, something that is being worked on in Japan? At Amazon's fulfillment centers, like the one on Staten Island, robots transport items to humans who then pick and pack them to be delivered. This robot alliance raises a human's productivity from 100 items packed per hour to around 300 to 400 items an hour. The director of Amazon Robotics Fulfillment says that Amazon is at least 10 years away from robots fully automating the process of a single order. Amazon started using robots in their fulfillment centers in 2012, and by 2018, they had around 100,000 robots working for them. Then from 2018 to 2020, Amazon doubled that number to 200,000 robots. And there are 250,000 humans working in the Amazon fulfillment centers globally. The humans work alongside the robots in what Amazon Robotics chief technologist calls a symphony of humans and machines working together. With an empire of robots working for them, Amazon is working hard behind the scenes to keep the robotic fleet running smoothly and keep the fleet growing in numbers.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop the video here. All right, so you guys just saw that. So they're definitely working on this. The robotics industry has definitely grown a lot in the past 10 years. And it's just only up from here. And so this is just causing a lot of conversation online, especially in the tech world. You know, like, where are we going with this? And we're ever trying to like immortalize ourselves. And that's where you get into the conversations of like deep fake and then bringing back people who have died, you know, bringing them back through CGI. Like even watching that Whitney Houston concert, it kind of gave me chills because it's like, I never got a chance to see her in concert, but I don't feel right watching her at a concert when that's not really her. I don't know if I'm wrong with that. I just kind of felt like, damn, we're still not allowing this woman to rest in peace, you know? And that's part of the cycle of life, right? You're born, you live, you try and figure out what you're gonna do with your life, and then you die. And at that moment when you die, that's supposed to be like, you know, your eternal resting. But now you see people monetizing, you know, dead celebrities and dead stars. And I don't know how I feel about that. I just feel like it's really eerie. It definitely reminds me of Black Mirror. I seen that episode where the woman's husband died and he ended up coming back to her, you know, and it wasn't what she thought it was going to be. So, you know, things like that really look like they can happen. And yes, for some people, I can see where they might feel like, oh, a loved one died, their mom or their dad, and it'd be cool to talk to them again. But I don't know. To me, it's just not the same. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same. You don't know what's being input into that, what spirits are being attached to that. It's too creepy for me. And I like the way Prince stated it years ago when he was asked about this, even before the technology existed. One thing I've learned from just research and stuff, a lot of the things by the time we get to see it, it's already been in development 10, 15, 20 years prior by the time it ever gets rolled out to the public. So it's very funny that they were asking Prince this question way back in the early 2000s about holograms before it was ever, you know, something to come to fruition. The only time we knew about holograms was on Jim and the Holograms. And so when they asked Prince that, he was like, no, I don't want to be brought back in any shape or form. I think it's demonic. And he stood 10 toes down in that, only for Justin Timberlake and them to bring him back during the Super Bowl that was here in Minnesota. So a lot of Prince fans were really offended by that because Prince was one of the few celebrities that openly spoke about holograms, and he was definitely against it. So the whole talk of AI is very interesting. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what you guys think about this, what you guys think the next wave is going to be. Do you feel secure with the job that you have now? Do you feel like your job could be replaced in the future? Or do you have the type of job where no, they're going to need human beings like doctors and nurses? But even in those medical fields, robots are definitely working hand in hand with a lot of doctors, even like in the surgical unit and things like that, they're using robots. So let's get the discussion popping. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and bring on Geralda or Geralda?
Geralda.
Oh, Geralda. Okay, how are you doing?
Hello, everyone. Hi.
Hi.
I just wanted to say that in my first semester of college back in 2017, fall 2017, I had to do a presentation about like robots and like what's them taking over. And I remember researching some stuff where it's like it's already happening, where like something happened in Michigan, Detroit, where like I think it was Ford, where they had to let go all of their human employees because the robots pretty much took over their jobs. And so like they were out of the jobs. And I remember my predictions, like telling all the class, I was like, I think the best jobs to take is engineering, because engineering is really gonna like who's gonna control the robots? Of course, like you need like I think engineers are gonna be like the top like job in the future. Where I also feel like unemployment is gonna be rising because these robots, I mean, they don't make mistakes. I mean, they do. I mean, if they if you keep them in top shape, they don't make mistakes. They don't get tired. I mean, you don't really have to pay them a minimum wage. You just gotta let them do what you do, and only like pay like the engineers to like control the robots. So I do feel like unemployment is gonna come, and I feel like the role of an engineer or like a tech person is really the importance of it is gonna rise as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that because you're going to have somebody who's going to be able to maintain the robots and upgrade the software and things like that. So, and that's one thing that people forget because the way it's being packaged to us, especially with the CGI robots, you tend to think that they're humans. Like even that interview that Michaela was giving, that was just so eerie to watch that because the way she was just it just flowed. It looked like if I was interviewing you, it just flowed naturally. And to think that that's not really Michaela talking, it's somebody who's programming her to talk. But because of the way it's packaged, you don't even see that aspect of it. You don't even understand there's people behind the scenes. So I definitely agree with you that will be a job in the future. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Let me go ahead and bring on 420 Nini. Go ahead and unmute your mic. Hi, I can barely hear you.
Oh, hold on 1 second.
Okay. It kind of sounds.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Say something else.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, perfect. We can hear you.
Okay. Sorry, I have my speaker on.
Oh no.
It's funny that you guys are even talking about this AI thing because you brought up Black Mirror. And there's an episode in Black Mirror where like, I don't know, I guess it was like a prisoner or something, and they took his consciousness and was like making it like a I don't know, like a what is it called? Like an entertainment type thing where you could go in and pay to see this guy get
like circus, like Freak House. That girl,
yes.
Black Panther, Letitia Wright was in there. It ended up being her
Yeah.
dad. Yes, that was one of my favorite episodes.
So that like is kind of like how they do in the Whitney Houston and the Tupac. Like, what if it's like a piece of their consciousness in this and they're just suffering continuously having to perform because it's always some weird stuff going on about Tupac not dying and then Whitney Houston, all the weird stuff that went on about around her death. So I don't know.
That's deep. That
yeah,
maybe they took a piece of their consciousness. We don't know how to make it tick. So yeah, that's very interesting.
That and it's like even in Black Mirror, they had like where it's implied that there was different levels of the technology of taking out pieces of their consciousness. And the further and further along they got in the technology, the better it was. Like originally, there was like a lady that her consciousness ended up inside of a teddy bear, and she can only say like 2 words. And then eventually they were like, oh, that's inhumane and stuff. And I'm like, this is probably what's really going on because, it starts off with, just we're going to have a picture of something that's like a hologramic picture where you could just see like 2 dimensions. Now, all of a sudden, you got people on stage performing their full discography. And you like,
when you looked at that video, maybe it's me, but did it not look like a bunch of spirits and ghosts up there?
Yes.
Like ghost up there.
Yes, it's almost like a presence up there, but it's just weird. It's not like the same energy you get from going to an actual concert. It's like as if, it's just like you looking at a caged animal or something. It's entertaining, but it doesn't give you the full effect of like, actually being there. Like it's weird.
Yeah, it's definitely eerie. We're definitely going down a slippery slope. And what people don't understand in the grand scheme of things, we're all energy, right? When it's all said and done, like we're all once this is just the physical shell. So once this is gone, we're all energy. And when you think about Wi-Fi and the internet and cables, you can't see any of that stuff, right? It's just energy. We know it's around us, but it's all energy. And that's why I believe that there's different dimensions. You get what I'm saying? Like I believe that the internet is a dimension and that spirits can travel in the internet. I really believe that because it's all energy. It's not like you're physically going to the internet. You get what I'm saying? Like there was an episode, what is that show? And if y'all know, it's the two white dudes, they're detectives. And
you're talking about
he's a cute white boy.
It's Supernatural. Supernatural.
Remember that episode?
Yes.
And he was crashing the car. The cars were crashing because the ghosts were taking over the computer system.
Yes.
Talk about it.
You know what? Even before Supernatural, when I was a little girl, I used to watch this show. I don't remember if it was Disney Channel or Nickelodeon, but it was called So Weird. And it was a girl who was like, her family was like a traveling musicians, and every city it would be some weird shit going on. In one city, it was a girl who was actually stuck. She was in a coma in real life, but her mind, her consciousness was stuck in the computer. And the girl was communicating with her to get her back home. Like she was navigating her through the GPS in the computer to get her back to her consciousness. And this is like in the 90s of Disney Channel and Nickelodeon. I'm not sure which one it was, Disney Channel or Nickelodeon, but you know, they be on some weird stuff too. So I'm like, how did you, like, you know, it's just too much of a coincidence. Sorry, girl. Okay, Marky, I'm out of here.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Talk to you later.
No, she definitely has some food for thought. I mean, because that's true. We don't know. Maybe Whitney Houston is in there, trapped and can't rest. They done conjured up her spirit and was like, now you're about to perform. You know, we just don't know. You know, and we might sound crazy, but you know, truth is stranger than fiction. And at this point, nothing surprises me with technology. Remember in the Ghostbusters, like in the cartoon, how they would get the spirits and put them in that little echo chamber thing? You know, you just never know. Let me go ahead and bring on Chelsea Cheyenne. Chelsea is Cheyenne. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hi, Auntie. I'm sorry I can't catch a lot of dripping.
Your phone is kind of breaking up. Let's see if we can hear you better.
Can you hear me?
Okay, that's a little bit better. How you doing?
Okay, I'm good. Can you hear me good? Okay.
Yeah, you sound better.
Okay. So I did want to piggyback off of what the lady was saying right before then, because there's a game that I like that just came out called Cyberpunk 2077. And in the game, you have to go through a brain dance, and the brain dance is basically wired into consciousness through neural network, and you can go look at crimes and go back and look at sex scenes, and so they have porn, and it's basically like physical virtual reality.
Whoa,
and
hold on, because I've never heard of this. So are you putting something on your brain or on the character's brain?
So the neural network can be implanted into the skull on the game, and you can get different designs and have different abilities. Like it'll have muscle regeneration, heart speed. Tactical people use it. Like Adam Smasher is a person that works for a private security firm, and he's fully metal, fully augmented to get software updates to fight better in the game. And so his consciousness is on a stack, kind of like Altered Carbon, but they can upgrade his muscles to heal faster, and he's basically invincible on the game.
And
so the
game, it's only a matter of time before it becomes reality.
Yeah, it just came out late last year. They had a lot of issues with the game, but the story itself has been around as a table book comic since the 80s. The cyberpunk genre deals deep into neural network and consciousness being stored on softwares. So way before Altered Carbon.
Wow. Yeah,
so that's what I wanted to say.
No, that's really interesting.
I love you guys, and I'm gonna get off of here soon.
Okay. Was there anything else you wanted to add, Cheyenne?
Nope, that really just hit home for me because that game just came out. And so for them to think of that right now during the pandemic is just kind of weird to me.
Yeah, no, thank you for bringing that up because I've never heard of that game before. So I'm definitely gonna look that up. But
yeah, it's all over YouTube.
Remember when I was saying on my live stream that in a minute, I think what they're gonna do, you know, is to merge man with machine, right? but they're gonna make it where you're your own celebrity. So that way you can either do something through the Oculus, right? Through like a virtual reality glasses, or like you're saying, the brain connection. And then you feel the impulses of what it is to be on stage performing in front of thousands of people, right? So that way everybody can tap in to see what it is to be a musician and things like that. I think that's going to be the wave of the future. So that's really interesting that you said that.
And I also wanted to add to that I don't know if you guys know, but I have heart failure, and I got an implanted device when I was 16. And I've always wondered about being hacked, or, if the grid went down, can my pacemaker whack out and kill me? And so we've kind of had these implants, and we're the guinea pigs for it. We don't know if a CME or coronal mass ejection will come and wipe out our network, and our heart is attached to it. And so I'm always scared about stuff like that.
No, definitely. I'm sorry, I choked on some water, but thank you so much, Chelsea. I really appreciate you calling in with that information.
You're welcome. I love you guys, and be safe out there.
Okay, love you too. We'll talk to you later. Let me go ahead and bring on Glam Girl 09.
Hey T. Hey everybody.
I like them glasses.
Thank you. I got them off of Zillow for like $20, y'all.
They're not real, like they're not prescription.
No, they are. You can get them with or without prescription.
Oh, okay. Cause I was like, let me go grab me some. Okay.
Yes, yes.
There's both.
Yes, y'all need to get on that. Okay, so I thought about when you asked, do you feel like your job is secure? So I was watching Netflix with my kids, and of course, it was some kids movie. They were in a classroom, and the teacher was a hologram. So I was like, wait a minute now, because I'm a teacher, and I feel like it's kind of like easing its way to that point, because at one point they were like giving us scripts and stuff because they were worried about the level of teachers and teachers not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and the way they plan stuff, and not really putting up a fight. Because just like celebrities, like teachers will give you a run too, like, oh no, I'm not gonna do that, that don't make no sense. I myself have been like, my students are not ready for this, or we need to stay here a little longer. But it's always like a fight between admin and teachers as to where you should be or how you're gonna get there, and testing this and testing that. And so that kind of just was like, wait a minute, because it's already happening. They're trying to give us scripts. They're trying to already, virtually, we're back in the building, but a lot of the kids have chosen to stay home in my district. And so it's kind of weird because I don't know if I am safe, like it's plenty of times where even before the pandemic, if they couldn't find a teacher, then they would like satellite one in, and there'll be one on the screen like that. That's one thing. But then with this whole AI,
I didn't know they were doing that before the pandemic.
Yeah, they were. I didn't either. And I guess they were kind of keeping it on hush hush, because I just walked into the room and I was like, where's y'all teacher? It's like, oh, she's finna be on the screen in a minute. Okay. And so that was one thing. And then when I know you've seen the movie Surrogates with Bruce Willis.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is basically what you're talking about. Where like everybody's home, everybody is like living their lives virtually. They eventually they get killed by the VR system, like the virtual reality. Somebody hacks it and starts killing people. And like Bruce Willis is trying to solve these murders, and he goes to one murder, and it's like virtually it was a skinny model type woman, and she was like all in like BDSM, but like super cute, sexy, nice body, everything. He gets to the house, and it's this like 300-pound man. And he's like, this complete opposite of what he realistically was. Mm-hmm. And so that part, both of those points just kind of like blew my mind, because AI is really transitioning, is going down that road. And I got a confession, when I saw that little strip tease, I was like, what is that, an 8-pack? Hold on now.
You talking about FM Mika?
Yes.
Yes. I had to admit it. I said, okay, well, shit.
Right. I said, wait a minute. I had to snap out of it just like you said. Wait a minute now. Wait a minute, Rashay. That 8-pack, I ain't never seen that before.
Right. And it's like, that's the thing, like they make them so perfect and flawless. He looks annoying in the face, but that body's on point. Sorry, keeping it real.
Right? That's a confession. I don't care. I'm sorry. This is a safe zone. But I was like, wait a minute. I really did have to click off because I was really replaying the video like you were saying.
Thank you. You had other people like, you're just weird. Nobody was replaying that video. Shit. Y'all may not admit it. You know, I'm gonna keep it real. I played that video over at least like 15 times. I was just like, and then eventually I had to like turn it off, like get off, like this is not a real person.
Yes.
The music
always ties.
It just like grabbed you.
Yes. And it ties into like the fantasy, you know, like that is what like you already said, that is where we're headed. Like that is attainable. You know, if you don't have your man don't have a six pack, here you go. You know, look at him. Or, you know, and then when back on your little night on your stream when you're talking about when we were little, you remember how HBO used to be free or more accessible and it had like HBO Real Sex or whatever. I'm sorry. But like they were talking about sex dolls back then and how they were realistic.
Yep.
You know
what's so crazy? I've seen some on Twitter that's made me do a double take because I thought it was like a video vixen. I'm like, well, who's this new video vixen? Because you know they're all shaped the same.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a doll.
Yes.
Look, it was a straight up doll, bad as hell.
And then for us to like, when Michaela said she was originally programmed to be the Illuminati sex doll.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now. This stuff is in the works for real.
Right.
So that's it. Thank you, girl. Love you. Love y'all.
Love you too. Thanks for calling.
No problem.
Let me go ahead and bring on Dream Doll. Dream Doll, go ahead and mute your mic, sis.
Hello. Hi, T. I'm a long time sipper.
That's what's up. Thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you perfectly.
Okay, I was gonna bring up the movie Surrogates as well, because the transhumanism agenda is a big, huge thing that they're pushing right now. Mm-hmm. They are, like you said before, they are trying to work on merging humans and machines. I mean, we've already seen it with the prosthetics. And you know, the prosthetics for people who have limbs that are missing and things like that. Mm-hmm. And I feel like to a certain extent, yes, it is a good thing. And it's something that can be used for humanity and can be a good thing for humanity. But if certain technology is put in the wrong hands with the wrong people, we're damned.
Yeah.
We're damned. I'm sorry.
Remember Elon Musk. He told us back in 2017 that releasing the AI is like unleashing the demons. Now everybody wants to act like, oh, he's just being facetious. No. When he said that.
People need to also understand that another word for magic is science. You guys have to understand that magic and science go hand in hand, whether you like to believe it or not.
Break it down, sis. Break it down.
Whether you like to believe it or not, magic and science go hand in hand. You know, science, like I said, it is another word for magic. In other cultures, they will describe our science as magic. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's why when the 5G rolled out, I was really disturbed because I'm like, okay, they trying to suck our souls up through these they trying to suck our souls up through these devices. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, why do we need to have these devices have so much power? I mean, I get to chat, I can Zoom meeting, I can do all this stuff with all of the 4G or the 3G that I had. Why do I need to go up to a 5G to the point where it's like we're going at lightning speed? What you trying to do? You trying to suck up my soul?
Be able to teletransport us.
Exactly.
The speed, like even
exactly.
If your body's here.
Exactly.
What you feel is through your soul, even more
yes.
than your body. And
yes.
That's where they're going with the super fast 5G, 6G, 8G.
Yes.
Where you can transport your soul physically.
Yes.
So see certain things, stuff like that. That's what
I wish I had a hammer. Yes. Yes, T, for real. And I feel like that's what they're trying to do. And I just feel like everybody just needs to really like protect themselves. And I know that it's a spiritual warfare going on out here. And so what I have these things called organite crystals. These are energy busters, and I use them, and I can feel the difference when I have these in my house. These are organite energy busters. These bust up all of the energy that comes from all of these machines, all of these machines that we are around constantly. It busts up that energy, that negative energy, any type of radiation that could come in and you know, anything that could cause you to have a heart attack, cause you to have an aneurysm. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Because
something like that from sis.
Oh, organite crystals. Those are things you can find those on Etsy. You can find them on Amazon. You can make them on your own with resin. You can make them on your own. And I have 2, 3, 4 of. I keep them around my room. I keep them around my house because I noticed the difference when I got them. I stopped having headaches. Okay, I stopped having weird circulation problems. Like, you know how your muscles like do that tweaking thing when you circulate, when you losing circulation. I used to have that all the time. And then you know how your ears go out like that, you know, it's weird. Like, yeah, and it starts ringing and your hearing goes out for a little bit. All that shit stopped.
Huh. Can somebody write the name of it? Because y'all know I don't know how to spell.
It's called organite. So you spell it like Oregon, and then you put night. Organite. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Organite.
You write it
Those
down.
I'm telling you, those are so good. And you can also get those in necklace form, and you can wear them as well. You can wear them on your body as well. You know what I'm saying? Because that's for protection against physical energy, like not spiritual energy, but physical energy.
Right.
So y'all get up on that because it's really good for protection. And I'm telling you, it's a spiritual thing out here, and we have to really, really protect and watch over ourselves because it's real. They trying to take us over, honey. Just like in that Terminator movie, how you know, the AI turned around and you know they was trying to kill all the humans and all this other stuff.
You know
it's the
what?
same thing.
We're gonna have to start doing some like old school movie nights. You know what was the movie we just watched the other day? I don't forgot, but we old school.
We stay watching movies.
Like 2012 or something like that. That was 2012. We all watched it last week. So let's start doing some more movie nights. Yeah, it was 2012. Y'all, I got a lot going on right now. Sorry, but
okay, y'all need to check out the movie Black Box.
And I want to watch Terminator again. I haven't seen all
this. Listen, you need to. I just watched this movie for the first time last week called Stargate.
Okay.
And that is a movie from 1994.
I've heard of
you guys need to watch Stargate again because that's a real thing. Like I feel like that's like they drop gems and they drop truths in these movies and in these shows that we watch. They give us the truth. They have to tell us the truth in order for their magic to work. They have to tell us what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? So Stargate is something you can find on demand. I watched it. It's on my Xfinity. I don't know if it was on Showtime or Stars or one of those places, but you can find it. It's called Stargate. Please check that movie out. Also, check out the movie with Felicia Rashad called Black Box. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's called Black Box with Felicia Rashad. And it's a really deep movie about the consciousness being removed and put in another person. It's a real deep movie. And I've never seen Felicia Rashad in that light. I've never seen her play a character like that. And it was disturbing.
Okay. Well, you dropped a lot of gems on us, sis. I really appreciate you calling.
No problem. Thank you, T. I love you, girl. I'm telling you, keep doing what you're doing. Don't let nobody hate on you, girl, because you is the chocolate queen, okay? Represent, okay?
Thank you so much, sis. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
And this is why I love having these Zoom meetings because we learn so much from each other. I never heard of organite. Maybe I'm mispronouncing it. Sorry. Organite crystals. I believe that's what
you got it right.
Okay, I wrote it down. I also wrote down the movies as well. So I think we can start doing that. We'll start doing movie nights. I don't mind watching the new stuff, but let's also watch some of the old stuff together because I really enjoyed watching 2012. Even I forgot the name, but I did enjoy watching it with y'all. Even though Amazon tried to scam, you know what I mean? But we're going to try and find, if I need to, I'll do what I got to do and get y'all the old movies and we'll just play it on Zoom. Because the only thing is you cannot stream Netflix or Amazon Prime movies on Zoom. It'll make everything go blank because they have a thing with these streaming services where it will block it. So we can't. The only way we can play it is if I get it somehow and then play it on my screen. So I'm gonna work on getting those movies, and then we can just do a screen share on Zoom so that way everybody can watch it. So I'm excited for that. But yes, thank you for all that information. I definitely took notes. Let me go ahead and bring on Miss Rolando 713.
Hey T.
Hey, how are you?
Can you hear me?
Where you about to go?
I don't know. I'm just doing my makeup. I hate being at home.
Oh, okay.
But thanks for having me on. I'm so glad I came on right after her because I kind of wanted to touch on that as well, like how they have to tell us the truth in order for this like spell to work, right? So I just started watching Westworld. I don't know if you've seen it on HBO.
No, I haven't seen it yet. I've heard of it though.
Yeah, so it came out originally in the 70s, and then now they have the show on HBO. I'm probably just like on episode 3, but it's basically about an amusement park where people can go and visit and live out their fantasy lives with these AI robots. And these robots look like humans, and they can't, like the humans can't even tell they're robots. They'll ask them sometimes, like, how do I know you're real? And they're like, well, that's part of the fun, right? You don't get to know. Oh, so the only way they really know is if they kill them. Like they can like stab the robots will be fine, but the robots can't harm humans. But the weird thing about that is in the show when the engineers are talking, because they update these robots every so often, they have updates. The man who made them said, what we're doing is witchcraft. Like he clearly said that in the show. Really? And they just like paused on that for a little bit. So I just thought that was crazy because I mean, that's really what they're doing when they're working with these AIs. Like there's a higher power that's kind of giving them this information. Yeah. Like regular folk, it's not just studying. It's not just like, oh, you study books and you get to know all this information. That you get in touch with, I personally feel like certain entities that kind of give you this knowledge.
They do. I remember a few years ago, and I just hate the fact that if I'd have known that YouTube was going to turn into shit and just remove all these conspiracy videos and deep videos, I would have downloaded them. But I remember this dude did a deep breakdown of how Apple, the company Apple, came to be, and how he connected it with Adam and Eve, and Apple, and Eve fighting from the apple, the tree of life, and the serpent, and how like these spirits are what came into like Steve Jobs, and that's how he got his knowledge, and he was able to tie the tree of life, that apple tree in the Bible, to the Apple logo. It was such a deep video, but I've tried to look for it over the years. I don't even know who made it, but it was just a really good video. But I definitely believe that a lot of this technology comes to people in spiritual form. Remember, like I told you guys, from doing IT, in the background of every computer is something that we call daemons. And I never felt comfortable with it because it just reminds me too much of the word demons. And I find it very interesting that in the back of every computer, the what makes the drive work is these things in the background called daemons. But sometimes people joke and call them demons, but I don't find that to be a happenstance that that's the name of that program, units. So it's just like, I feel a lot of this stuff because, again, it goes back to electricity and, beings that, what's to say that there's not things that are supernatural that are being embedded in the computer, because all of this stuff wasn't never really meant to be. This was not how we were meant to really interact. So where did all this knowledge come from?
Yeah, exactly. And I know, like, I'm sure you've heard of like Elon Musk. He's been working on that Neuralink. Yeah. So, and last year, right, he successfully like implanted it into a pig. It was all over the news, like the Neuralink's finally been implanted into a pig. But then I look at Elon Musk and it's like, I always feel like there's dark energy around him too, because he's with Grimes, and like a lot of her music is very like demonic, talking about like the occult. And then they named their child that weird name I can't pronounce, like AI something. They gave him a robotic name. So it's like, and he even said like, hey, I'm going to be the first one to get the Neuralink if it comes out. So it's like, I don't know. It's definitely, I mean, that's why it's called television programming. Like they need to tell us that vision and program that into our subconscious for it to work. So it's dark. I mean, I feel like lately I'm very selective with what I watch. And when I watch it, I try to like you know, you got to enjoy things, but you got to be careful and just kind of make sure what you're watching isn't like putting the wrong messages in your brain, I think. But yeah, that's all I had to say, T. So thanks for having me on.
You are very welcome. And thank you so much. I appreciate you calling in.
Bye, everyone.
Now, I don't know if you guys remember, I had posted this video. Some of you guys are new, you guys might have missed it because somebody just wrote something in the chat and they said daemon is another word for fairies. Now, you guys remember I had posted it. It was a video that this young man did, and it was called The Maynards of TikTok. How the old gods used to like dance in the forest, you know, the Maynards, and, you know, they were spiritual beings. And he was saying that basically these TikTokers are modern day Maynards, you know, these young kids who dance, you know, they do these moves, they're making millions of dollars, they have all these idol worshipers. It's the same as things that went on in the old religion. It's like a really deep video. It's somewhere on Discord. If I can find it, I'll repost it tonight. But it was I loved his breakdown. So being that you guys are talking about theories, I remembered that video. Let me go ahead and bring on Afro Queen N300. Afro Queen, go ahead and unmute your microphone.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. How are you?
Pretty good. I am walking, so I do apologize for not doing a video, but I just had to catch the Zoom because a lot of weird stuff is starting to happen, and it's always been happening. Like you said, I used to follow, which I know is bad because, like you said, energy can come through a screen. My mom has told me that. She lived with Haitian parents, so they used to tell her that energy can come to the screen, and she used to get really mad at me for watching scary movies at night because she said I'm bringing that energy through the screen. So she would take my phone. But to kick on Westworld, once you get to the end of Westworld, it's like how you get excited about Game of Thrones. I don't want to tell it, and I don't want to spoil it because the young lady says she's only on episode 3. So I'm not going to spoil it. But once you sit down and you binge watch the episode, you're going to start to look at this world a little bit differently. Because what that lady said about her being a Illuminati sex doll, I feel like they already have them. So that's what Westworld kind of ties into. And it's going to tie into the AI unlocking their own unconscious, just like Will Smith did. He unlocked his own unconscious to the point he didn't know he was a robot. And I feel like the world is going to dig a little bit more into this. It really gave me the chills when she said that her deeper inner programming was for that. And I feel like they're going to start taking us as women and what we can do and start pinning them into these robots, just like Rick and Morty. I'm all conspiracy theory out. There's a Rick and Morty episode where Morty gets the sex doll from a shop. He ends up doing the dirty with it, and he ends up creating another organism because he's tied DNA with this mutant planet that he didn't know about.
Well, you talking Rick and Morty from the old school show, or is this a new show?
The new show that's on Adult Swim. Adult Swim has had a lot of acid type shows that they have been playing.
Okay.
So it's a lot of weird things that's out there that may catch your eye. But those are just a few shows that I feel like I should mention that people should dig into. Okay. Because at the end of Rick and Morty, one of the Mortys was a robot controlling a Rick. And Ricks are dominant. People don't think that a Morty could be dominant. And at the end of the season, it showed the Morty becoming president and all shit goes to hell. Sorry, but that's how it ends. These shows are actually telling us what to look at. And if it's programming and we're starting to believe in it, it's like we're worshiping it. So I'm just saying, just watch a few conspiracy theory shows. Those are just a few of them.
Okay. I'm definitely gonna have to check that out, especially Westworld. I've been hearing about Westworld. I just haven't gotten into it yet, but that definitely sounds good. That does. Well, thank you so much, Afro Queen, for calling in. I appreciate you.
Thank you, lovely. To you. Have a beautiful night.
You too. Let me go ahead and bring on one of the fellas here. Sylvester 313. Go ahead and unmute your mic. Sylvester? Oh, maybe he's busy. Okay, let me go ahead and bring on We're Red Tonight. I said it right this time. We're Red Tonight.
Yes.
Hey,
I am here. How are you?
Good.
Hold on, because I got a new computer. Can you see me?
Okay, yeah, we can see you now.
Okay, I do not. I can't see myself, so excuse me if I look a mess. So I wanted to talk. Yeah, my dad works at Amazon, and I just remember you guys saying that, and he told me about the whole computer thing, and him and a fellow employee were arguing over the whole thing about them bringing in the robots, and so they're kind of upset about that. And but they don't think that they will be able to actually fully integrate the robots to actually take over all of Amazon, because some of those robots are actually messing up, and so they're thinking that their jobs are going to be secure for the long run, because even though they are starting to bring in those robots into like Indianapolis and all the other distributions places, they're malfunctioning, even though they put in all those all that money into them. But also just off of the AIs, what I found out from doing some discovering, there is, I put a link when I saw FN Mika. It's called virtualhumans.org, and that has all the list of all the AI artists that are basically running right now, or active right now, from that girl to FN Mika, to anyone who's basically AI, robotic, or anything. And basically they want, what's that company that I told you about? I emailed you, Vita.
And you were saying that's the same company that discovered Little Pump?
Yeah, they discovered Little Pump, Fitty Wap. They discovered all these rappers, but I guess they want to get rid of the actual person and bring on other artists and turn them virtually. So they're saying, we can discover you, but we actually don't want to put your face anymore. We want to make you a virtual human. So if you want to be discovered, we can do that for you, but you're not going to be you. You're going to be a virtual person. So they're going to, you can upload your music, you could upload your talent, and it's only by invite. So if they think you have the talent, you can submit your work, and then their artists, their creators are going to create a person around you. I see you. She's like, 1 minute, girl. and then they gonna create this virtual AI. So basically what people have been saying is just like, you're gonna be able to have a virtual reality, person built after you, and be able to live that life without having to show your face. So you could be a 300-pound man and look like, a skinny model, so that's what it just freaked me out. Oh, and also too, that tattoo on his head, it's a tarot symbol, and it's an altar, and so his eyes, and the meaning of it is it's a symbol like for the Illuminati, and all of it is the mind altering, and it's the sacrificing, you're sacrificing your mind to him. So that's why he's illuminating you to suck your soul in. That's why it's like, I got to give you the whole full meaning, because the girl, she sent me the symbol, like she sent me the meaning or whatever, but it's just really creepy. So I had to, yeah, it's
Thank
just
you
weird.
so much,
But yeah.
sis.
But yeah, bye.
Right,
I see you, girl. I see you, Marky.
Cards up, honey. Marquis is not playing. Sylvester said he was cooking. So Sylvester, go ahead if you're ready. Go ahead and unmute your microphone. I don't know if he's done cooking or what's going on. All right, Sylvester, that's the second time we called your name. We got to move on. Let me go ahead and bring on Jose Gonzalez. Jose, go ahead and unmute your mic.
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Jose?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I want to talk about like how I think weeks ago we were discussing minimalism and like all these things. And I know I haven't, like 4 people isn't a lot of people, but I've met in Texas when I worked in Texas. I met this woman who was from New Jersey, who came to work at the hotel that I was working at while I was in Texas, who was in a cult. And what she would like, she was very weird. She was very like, she was just on some weird shit. And this one day we were cleaning a room together, like this huge room. And she said like how they got her into it, because she wasn't born into it, like her other people that she knew there. So she said that they like took away everything from her and made her like a minimalist. And once they stripped her of everything that was like hers or that she knew, then she got like, I guess, molded into like what the fuck they were doing in New Jersey. But one thing that I was remembering about the whole minimalism speaking, like all that talk that we did, was like, it kind of seems like it is going to be like a huge cult.
Well, listen to the slogan. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. The fact that they have
exactly.
a very culty.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, there's just so much discussion about like death and all these things, but have you noticed that like the only things that are like the negative, because there's good and bad in everything, and that also is in death. But have you noticed that this past 2 years, death hasn't even been remotely like positive in any way? And that's how she goes. That's how she maneuvers. There's positive things, but all the loss that we've been experiencing ourselves and the people around us, all the negativity, all like the bad stuff has been exaggerated. So this like huge like collection of like negativity, this like global like wave of just like energy of just loss and like depression, it makes us into like this like, I don't know if it produces a huge wave of some type of vibration, but what are they doing with that energy? And it's also like the ancient world and the new tech world combining once again, because I feel like my ancestors, I'm Mexican, I feel like my ancestors, we definitely had technology back in the day. Wow. We were on some shit. So this technology and humans being one thing is a very old thing, but the way that it's being done now is very, very creepy.
Yeah.
And I just feel like nothing's new under the sun, and we're going to continue to see the things that we've seen before, but it's just all in there's a different veil of like on it.
Speaking of like the olden days, like sometimes I think about too, like some of these civilizations get destroyed simply because their technology got so advanced. Because when you think about the ancient Egyptians, at this point, there's not even like a machine that can build that. So how was it built? You know, just one block costed like 22,000 tons. Like, did they make their mind? Did they have some type of technology to build those pyramids? Like even like some of like the Aztecs people down in Mexico, they had like a lot of things. When you think about people in Atlantis, was their technology so deep with them being able to survive underwater that it destroyed them? I don't know sometimes like that.
I also think that like architecture, I live in New York now, And there's this thing called the Vessel that they had to close in, I don't know, it's in Hudson Yards, where like these young kids were jumping off of it and committing suicide. And when I was in Mexico, I would go to like, they said that there's like this tunnel where like the wind passes by, it makes a certain noise, it whistles at you at a certain hour of the day. And I'm thinking how architecture and everything, how everything is just built against us, because this is a society that is built against people of color, people who are not allergic to the sun. So like there's just a lot of like things where we can even go down into DNA and like ancestral DNA of the small ice age that was caused by colonialism. Like all of this stuff is all tied together. And if you read American Holocaust, there's a lot of things that the colonizers did to the indigenous people that they're slowly doing to us in a different way. But I'm gonna get off now because we can continue to talk for the whole night.
Well, thank you so much, Jose, for coming through with that wealth of info. I appreciate you. So let me go ahead and bring on Rizmoon 00. Rizmoon, if you could go ahead and unmute your microphone.
Hi.
Hello.
I feel so just happy to be on here with all of you guys. This is just so great. Lovely T, you are just splendid, wonderful, magical, and just your heart radiates. I mean, you got me through 2020. I cannot even tell you how much. So I just feel blessed, and I just have to tell you.
Well, thank you so much and welcome. I'm glad you're here.
I am too. Hey, Marky. I wanted to tell you guys to check out, it's a movie. It came out in 2013. It's not gonna be a feel-good romp. It's called The Congress. It's with Robin Wright Penn.
Okay.
And it is very meta. It deals with so she's an actress and she is not getting work. Her son is really sick. And so the studios offer her money if she decides to get herself digitized, to become a hologram, so they can then use her in lots of other roles. So they tape her voice, they tape her body, they video her, and now they have her, so they can just put her in movies, kind of like what they're about to do with James Dean, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but she actually signs up for it. She signs a contract. Later on, they want her to speak at sort of like a Senate and a seminar and talk about her role and what she's doing. And she has this conscious break of like, this isn't right. And so she, as it goes on, she basically goes into this world. She gets rescued. I can't tell you everything, but living in this space that is all fake, and then real life is coming in. People are taking drugs to be in the world. You can take a pill to get out of it, but once you get out, you see what's happening. It is over the top. It goes into war, it goes into energy, it goes into soul, your spirit, what is real, what you think is real, and what you put out there. Oh man, it's too much.
Oh, we might have to do a movie night on that. It sounds like a real deep movie.
It's long and but it will make you feel. And when I tell you, you will think about it months later. And it's from a book that came out in 1971 called The Futural Congress.
Okay.
So I just wanted to let you guys know, but I don't have anything else to say. Love you all.
All right, love you too. Thank you so much, sis, for calling in. Appreciate you. Let me go ahead and bring on Black Woman at Work. Go ahead and unmute your microphone.
Hey T, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm good. I have been a T-Sipper for so long, and I finally made it to the Discord.
Yay, well, welcome.
Thank you. But I wanted to just talk about a movie that came out in 2014. I was probably like 15 years old when it came out, but the movie was basically called Lucy. So the main character, or the just the main person of the movie, she was a drug mule. So she was supposed to transfer these drugs via her abdomen, and I think the drugs like popped in her, and so the average human brain uses 10% of the brain, but with the drugs popping inside of her, she was able to use way much more than that. So eventually she got addicted to the drugs and her brain started expanding. So it went from 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, all the way up to 100%. So at each level, she was able to do certain things. So she was able to maybe walk through walls, read other people's consciousness, and stuff like that. So eventually, when she got to 100%, she basically turned into a whole like computer. She just basically turned into technology. And that's how the movie ended. So when you talk about technology just being another portal or another dimension, I definitely do think it's doable, and I think it's real. Supposedly there's 12 dimensions. I don't know if they settled on those last 2 dimensions just yet, but there's definitely 10 dimensions. So I think one of them could be technology, and how people can just, if we had a way to access our whole entire brain, I think there's a possibility that we can merge with technology and move through it that type of way as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think the agenda also is to push immortality, not dying, being forever young. Even I remember that song when that song came out, Forever Young. And I like the song. I mean, I listened to it by Jay-Z. And I remember this guy that I knew back then. He was an older guy, and he was saying that song gave him vampire vibes. And I didn't get it at the time. I was like, what? Nah, the song's a bop. He was like, no. He said, really listen to what it's saying. Young, I want to be forever young. He said it's them not wanting to age, not wanting to grow. He said this is why you see these old rappers always trying to attach themselves to young blood, to young influencers, young rappers, young singers. And like I said, the song came out years ago. I remember when he said that. And then now when I see how they, connect with these young rappers, or how even with Beyonce, doing songs with Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi, it's like they're always trying to reinvent themselves, because it's like they don't want to grow older. So it's almost like, let me just change my flow, Drake. You know what I mean? He'll just change his flow to get with what the young kids are doing now that he's getting up there in age. So it was something that somebody told me years ago, and it always stuck in my mind. And I think that's another push that they're doing with the technology, is finding ways to immortalize yourself, because that's the main difference between humans and AI. They never get old. Micaiah will always be I don't know how old she is, maybe 18-year-old AI, for life. Whereas you're only 18 one time.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Also, that point that you made about the TikTok dances, I don't know if you ever heard like the dance of destruction, Shiva, how like I guess she was a Indian, or he was an Indian god, and the dance of destruction was to bring destruction to the land. So, I mean, it could be a stretch, but I definitely do see those dances being some type of hypnosis, or just another way to open another type of portal and stuff like that. Because CERN also in Europe also uses the dances of Shiva for their type of experiments of opening portals and stuff like that.
That's interesting. Well, thank you so much for that information. I really appreciate you calling in, sis.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
You too. I see somebody asking, did Beyonce do a song with Cardi? They did do a song together, but the problem is that the A&R who was working on the song, they were being messy, got too excited, and they leaked it to the world to let everybody know that Beyonce and Cardi were working together. So once the secret got out there, they just decided to scrap it. But she did work with Cardi B on the song. So for people who are asking, it just never came out, which sucks. But you guys got I'm a Savage on Demon Time, so you know. Let me go ahead and bring on Taisha Pierce. Taisha, go ahead and unmute your microphone.
Hello, guys.
Hi.
I just wanted to say I can see in the near future, since we already have an AI that's rapping, I can see possibly one being for the kids. I don't know why, but I can see one just being for the kids some type of way.
Like a baby?
Probably.
Or like a...
Well, maybe not a baby, but one for the preteens or maybe a teenager to try and condition them, maybe.
Oh,
unfortunately.
There's a new
they do?
I forget the name. So a few people posted in the Discord. Like if you ever go into the science and technology room, that's where all the tech tea is. But there's a new AI. I want to say its name starts with the R, but it looks like my little nephew. It has dreadlocks and everything. And he's like, I'll be your AI friend. Did y'all see that in the Discord? Somebody posted that. And it's a little brown skin AI with dreadlocks. And the name is like something with the R. If I can find it, I'll post it. But yeah, they're already doing that. They're already conditioning. And even people in the chat are saying that they got a lot of that stuff too in Japan, where, you know, you can build your own AI friend and talk to them, you know, just like how I'm talking to you, except for it's an AI person. So yeah.
So at first we had to worry about online predators, and now we have to worry about AIs.
Yeah, it's crazy how it is right now with the technology.
Oh, this is too much. That's all I had. That's the only thing that I was like really worried about. And I'm like, I can just see them conditioning the kids.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's already started. Somebody just posted in my comments that FN Mika, he went from having, I think they said like 1 million followers on TikTok, and within like the past week, now he's at like 9 million. And so when I look at him growing that quickly in a week, right? Granted, you might have a segment of the population, they just want this AI robot to overthrow James Charles. Okay, cool, that's your right. But then part of me is like, if it's AI and all of this shit is fake anyways, who's to say that this AI is not generating the numbers? How did he go from 1 million to 9 million in less than a few days? You know, like they could just generate the numbers at this point and say, hey, look, this is the first AI robot, you know, rapper to dethrone a human being influencer. And I think that's the narrative that they're going to push with these AIs. Like, look how popular they are. Look how many people are following them. But when you think about it, are people really following them? They could be fake numbers. They could be other AI, because I don't have no plans on following him. So who are these people who are following them? We may not know because it could just be fake. You got humans who buy fake followers. So why would it be, you know, weird to think that a robot would do the same thing? So on that note, thank you for calling in, sis. Let me go ahead and bring on Devontae Woodson.
Hey T, how are you? Let me turn on my camera.
I'm good. How about you?
I'm well. You look beautiful as always.
Thank you, handsome. Appreciate it.
So I was actually just want to get on the point that I don't think people really understand it. I know you understand it because you put me onto it and I had to look into it. But we have a lot of spells with our words. Your words are spells. How you say stuff, what you say, the repetition at which you say it, stuff you put out in the atmosphere. It's spell casting. Even like praying, that's spell casting. What people are not getting, when we do all these repetitive things, you're increasing the power of the spell. Hence the dance. That's what got me on it with the whole Shiva thing. I agree. I do think that these kids are doing certain ritualistic dances, and the volume that it's being done is going back into the atmosphere and bringing that magic back.
That's deep. I didn't even think about that. Think about all these TikTok challenges, right? You see how popular they are? All of that is energy. and we're posting these dances on TikTok. We're all doing the same repetitive things, the hand movements and all that shit. I don't know which way my hands should go, but you know, they're all doing the same dances. And you're right, that's energy, that, you know, those words, that is spell casting, you know, and those might be rituals that they're using to make, you know, these machines even more powerful.
Yeah, so what people don't understand is dance is one of the highest forms of magic. If you go back to any culture, any kind of prefaces, anything, dance is where it starts. Music is the basis of all religion. So what they're doing right now is they're increasing the rate of all this demonic ass energy because they are continually doing demonic influence dances. And they're like, it's kind of like they're waking up the spirit. And when you have so many people doing it, it has no choice but to like rise. And the way that we're repetitively doing these things, the speed at which they're catching on, the globalness of it. Like, it's one thing if, say, everybody in America was just on TikTok, cool. Then just the American demons would be in the place. No, this is worldwide. We are waking up worldwide demonic energy with these dances and these celebrations that I don't think people are aware of.
Right, because remember this summer when I kept telling people, quit chanting that I can't breathe. That was a global phenomenon. You know, everybody, I wasn't, but everybody was chanting, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And then what happened? Corona came. Remember all the fires? You know, the air was polluted. So it's like all that stuff is very, very powerful. You know, and even it came out, I don't know if you guys realize this, but it came out that the women who created Black Lives Matter, who helped run it, they spellcast, they're witches. They came out as witches and said that they do put spells out there to help calm the crowd and to do certain things to manipulate. Y'all can Google it, but yeah, they're witches. They've come out and totally announced that. That was a big controversy this summer. And so that kind of tied back to what I was saying about, we don't know why this came out, this whole I can't breathe. And when you think about that, that's a negative affirmation. No, don't say you can't breathe. You better say that you can breathe.
Yeah, why would you say that?
Out here, you know?
But no, I totally agree. And that's what I was like, I just wanted to get that out there because I think that's the bigger picture. That's the missing piece. We're doing a lot of spell casting that we're unaware of. I think that's genuinely what it goes to. And I want to take it a step further. Mm-hmm. I think that what they're trying to do now is going back to the BLM thing. They're trying to get us to spell cast this whole Asian Black divisiveness now. Mm-hmm. We've already had a little bit of it, but now they want us to speak it. They're speaking it I've never seen Black people attacking Asians literally in that same context, those exact words right there. So much in my lifetime. It's everywhere. They're trying to make it a thing. They're trying to solidify it. So they want us to speak it. They want us to act on it. They're going to do certain things that showcase it, that actually show the act of it. But it's going to be in the power of the tongue and the press. When people keep repeating it, when people keep feeding into it, that's when it's going to take off.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very eerie the way they're pushing this whole Asian hate thing, you know, because for the most part, I don't know people who go out the way to bother Asians. You know what I mean? Like they mind their business, they work, whatever. But it's like the way now when I'm watching CNN, it's like every crazy Black teenager is running to go push down an Asian. I'm like, is that not the same video that y'all showed last week? Like, why y'all got this on repeat? Like Black kids are just out here attacking Asian people, you know, constantly. And so even yesterday, there was a video that went viral. The Asian news lady started crying because she was so happy that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, you know, are acknowledging the Asian community. And this is the first time they've ever felt included. What? Like, what are you talking about? You guys are the model minority. Like, I'm just saying, like, what do you mean this is the first time y'all have ever felt included? You know, so it's like there's a narrative. And meanwhile, when I talk to my Asian friends, they're just like, I don't get, like, where's all this coming from? Like, yes, what he did was messed up, but you can tell there's an agenda behind all of this stuff.
Yeah, because like you said, it just doesn't exist. And like, I have a huge population of Asian friends myself. And we were literally going back and forth with each other. Like, we are not understanding. One of our other Asian coworkers, like, she happens to be the outlier because the rest of them are darker skinned. They're not white identified. She's white identified. We happen to be talking about it on Facebook and she was upset. Like, she was like, I don't think this is right. Oh my God, da da da. And keep in mind, these are other Asian women speaking. It's not just my Black self telling you about the Asian experience. So right. They're really trying the divisiveness to like all ends right now. All I gotta say is be careful, y'all. Stay prayed up. Listen to T and then research, and just really make sure that you got your household together. That's all I can say. But I'm gonna go ahead and go and let someone else get the floor. T. It was so good to speak to you.
Definitely. Thank you for that wealth of information. I love it. I love when y'all go deep. He made so many good points, especially with that dancing. That is, ooh, that's deep right there. Definitely makes sense. Let me go ahead and bring on Mr. Talk Your Shit. Go ahead and unmute your microphone.
What's up, T? Let's go. I was so happy. I was like, I can't wait for me to get picked. I was like, I got something to say. And it's, I think it's,
feel that tea.
yeah. So I wanted to say how school is, I'm about to expose public school. Public school is making kids just, what's the word? Dumb, just making it dumb. And I'm gonna explain why. When you start kindergarten or preschool, you have, you know, the room is full of color, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, when there's color in the room, kids' emotions are, you know, that's where kids are able to, you know, create stuff because of it, because color plays a role in all your emotions and stuff. And when you go up, each time you go up a grade, there's less color in the classroom. So when there's less color in the classroom, kids are not able, really able to use their, I think, right side of their brain, which is the creativity side of their brain, to, you know, express how they feel, their personality, their art, what they're feeling.
And like you're talking about, like when they start kindergarten through, I think about third grade, how like there's like all the pictures and the colors and blue, purple, red. I never thought about that. Then by the time you get to junior high, you go in the classroom, it's all
no color.
Board, black and white.
Yup, just no color. And that's why kids are like so tired, they feel sluggish, they feel weak because there's no color in the classroom to boost their mood. That's why I said it's a psychology game, like they're playing on kids. And when you and I'm gonna go into reading. So when you notice how when you're in kindergarten too and pre-K, preschool, you have, you know, pictures in your book, you have words, you have some type of expression, like image in the book that's you know, what's displaying in a sentence or in the story. But as each grade you go up, there's no pictures in the book too. So what they're basically doing, they're programming and conditioning kids to only use only the left side of their brain, which is, you know, their logic, their thinking, math, science, you know, language, art side of, you know, mostly just stuff that, you know, just has to do with subjects. Yeah, they're only using their left side of their brain. They're not really using the other side of their brain, but they're supposed to be using both at the same time. So if you want to have a well-rounded, you know, person in a good society, but
they want you to use the part of your brain that helps you memorize test taking.
Basically that, and I'm gonna say this is how they're able to right now. This is how they're able to, you know, push this agenda where they want kids to really like just learn nothing. Because if your kids are at home, especially little kids, they're not, you know, exposed to a colorful room. Because, you know, let's be honest, most parents don't have colorful like room in their house. And kids are not able to, you know, express each other's feelings with other kids, and they're only doing it remotely on a damn laptop, which is not really like how the kid is supposed to, you know, feel another kid's, you know, vibes or energy, or how they're supposed to play around. You know, it's so deep. It's just insane how like they really, I'm gonna call it out for what it is. These Luciferians, Satanists who are controlling our world. I'm gonna call out for what it is, because these people are literally controlling our world and they're continuing doing it. And I feel like we need to call it out for what it is. The wickedness in this country, and especially in this world, is run by evil Satanist people. They're literally controlling our world and they're making it a living hell. And that's why public school education is just trash. It's not promoting kids to be smart, just to memorize shit and just to be a conditioned worker. As you can see why they're not using their left side of their brain, the right side of their brain, because they're only using, it's like saying you're training a body, like let's say you're training your left arm, but you're not training your right arm. So your left arm is basically stronger than your right arm. So it's like and it's a good gateway for them to put us into this AI machine. So let me explain. If you have kids who doesn't have no personality, no creativity, there's no they have no intuition, like all the creativity on the right side of the brain, it's easy for them to be like, okay, you know, we're gonna put y'all into this system where once you die, you're not dying here. You're going to an AI cloud where your conscious is going to be in a system where we're able to have full control of your conscious and your thinking. Because I feel like this is their new agenda. They're pushing this out. Like example, how you're able, when you paint the wall, you prime the wall, so when you add the paint, it can stick on well. That's what they're basically doing to like us. They're basically programming, you know, priming us up so for the real shit that's coming down. So that's why I'm saying that this whole technology thing is another gateway for them to have full control of our mind. It's all now. just our
Because
mind.
when you think about it, even when we were growing up, to be a celebrity, to be somebody famous, you had to, for the most part, have some type of it factor, some type of talent. You had to be able to sing,
Yep.
dance, or act. Like, you weren't just famous to be famous.
Exactly.
And nowadays, it's like anybody can have fame. But now also, let's not forget, we also have this victimization culture, which is what I
Yep.
hate the most about this generation. Everybody's a victim. Oh, woe is me. Cancel culture. We can't agree to disagree. If you're
Yep.
not thinking how I'm thinking, you're a bad person, right? So
Yeah.
I think because of that, because we're living in a world where everything needs to be fair now, right? When we're growing up, hey, if you're 4'11" and you're a short man, you're just a short man. You can't get mad because LeBron is 6'8", right? But now
Yeah.
it's like, well, that's not fair that I'm not 6'8".
Yeah.
But you know what? You can be 6'8" because now we have a LeBron James AI, and you can plug into it via the Neuralink or whatever they're trying to invent. And now you too can be LeBron James. Now you too can have those same skills.
Yep.
You know, so I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense, how they're dumbing down these kids and, you know, babying them. And they're not learning things that you just learn as you're going through life. Disappointment, not winning
Yep.
everything. This whole everybody gets a trophy culture is such BS.
Yeah, it is. It is.
That's going to be the next step. Like, okay, maybe you're not cool. Maybe you're not as attractive. Maybe you're not as in shape, but there's an AI that can fit whatever insecurities you have. And then that can be the new you. That can be what you live vicariously through. So yeah, the rabbit hole definitely goes deep.
I wanted this. I think you talked about this, I think last summer. I think you talked about nanoparticles and how chemtrails are literally how chemtrails are producing chemicals that are like we're breathing it in and it's being put in our brains, and you know. And I need to find this article, but it was this article where there was a doctor that came out and it was exposing how COVID-19, the swab when you go take a test, was laced with nanoparticles and stuff like that on the swab. Like, I'm dead serious. Like, that's insane. Oh, I'm sorry, Marquis. Marquis was like, "Your time's up. You gotta go." You know, but yeah, but they're literally. I'm telling you right now. I promise for sure, 100% sure. I know for sure that they're trying to put us in this whole AI business thing, because it's another way for them to have full control of our mind and how we express our feelings. Because when you have somebody's mind, you have full control of who they are as a person and their creativity. That's how I see it. And I was just like, wow, this shit is fucking crazy how we're letting Satanist people run our country. We need to call them out for the bullshit. It's insane.
Well, thank you so much. You shared a lot of information. I really appreciate it. So
yeah, thank you. Yes, I was like, I need to talk this shit.
We'll talk to you later.
Thank you. You too.
You're welcome. No, he made some awesome points, especially about the classroom. I never thought about that. You know, and when he was saying that, I was thinking about when I first dropped my babies out in kindergarten and how the room is so warm and inviting, and you see the colors, and the teacher, you know, is all smiles. And then by the time, you know, they're in junior high, it's like they're preparing them for damn prison. You know, get in line and get over here, and nothing seems welcoming. Even the teachers are kind of, you know, jaded by then. So yeah, that's very interesting. He made some really good points. Let me go ahead and bring on Star-Lord Nolan. Go ahead and unmute your microphone.
What's up?
Hey, how are you?
How you doing, T?
I'm doing great.
I just when you were talking about immortality, have you ever read the book Sapiens?
Sapiens?
Yeah, I heard of the book Sapiens.
Uh-uh.
So it's a really good book. I got it on Audible, so I just listened to it, and I think you'd really like it.
Mhm.
Basically, like, it goes to like human history, like Stone Age, and like, I mean, all the different you know, like different kinds of sapiens, like Neanderthals and like Denisovans and all like the different kinds, I guess, species of sapiens.
Humans that have lived.
Right, yeah. And then it goes to like the cognitive revolution, the scientific revolution, like the I'm trying to think of like the agricultural revolution, all that human history. And then basically it ends up as in like how how we're ushering in this like genetic engineering and immortality and non-organic life forms, and that will be like our doom, you know, because I mean, like our end of of sapiens, because basically, you know, like we will become amortal, like you can still kill us, but we'll be able to live forever because of genetic engineering. And it freaked me out, but it's a really good book.
That sounds really interesting, and you can get it in an ebook and just listen to it audio form.
I think you would like it. I really would. I really do, because it's just really interesting to go through all of those human revolutions, you know, and where we came from, and colonialism, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, we definitely come a long way as humans, but the crazy part is just like, even though you would say that maybe we know more, I guess, quote unquote, now because of technology and Google and stuff like that, I still feel like people back then were way more stronger. They had to use, like he said, the right and left side of their brain. They were way smarter. These smartphones have dumbed us down so much. And it's really scary for the generation that all they known is smartphones and iPads. We grew up in a time we didn't have all this. You know, like I was saying before in a prior stream, when I was in elementary and junior high, I had everybody's phone number memorized. In 2020, I don't even know my phone number. I literally have to go on my phone and put in, you know, my name and pull it up. It's
same.
So yeah, we've definitely, I don't know, it's scary to think where we're going to go in the future as humans.
I saw this meme that was something like, here we were floating on a rock through space, and we decided to come up with money and work. You know, so
right.
It was something like that. But yeah, I think you'd be really interested in that. I mean, that's when everybody was like saying like movie recommendations and stuff like that. I think you'd really like that book. It's called Sapiens.
Sapiens. I'm gonna write that down. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for that information. I really appreciate you calling in.
Yeah. Love you, T.
All right, love you too. All right, Marquis, did you have something to say? Because I know you're going to keep your hand up to monitor the cue cards.
Yeah, I got something to say.
Okay,
no.
All right.
Hey, y'all. Hey, I love y'all. I'm gonna be, what is it, 7:56? Okay, I got 5 minutes. So just a couple of things. The first thing is the video that you did earlier today. Is her name Michaela? I think it is.
The girl is Michaela, and then the boy is FN Mika.
Yeah, Michaela is who I'm talking about. She did creep me out because how you said, like how she just flowed for one. But the thing that I think creeped me out the most is where she get her morals from. You know, like where did she get, it's two parts of it. It's like, did they program her to have morals, or did she override herself so she, you know, to have morals? Because if she was created for the you know, the X work, then why didn't she do that?
Right.
Did somebody buy her and then reprogrammed her? It's just, to me, you know, for her to say, oh, well, I was originally made for this, and it's creepy. And then I guess he said for the Illuminati, or whoever the interviewer was talking, they was like, for them. And she was like, I know, right? Ain't that crazy? Isn't that weird? To me, it's like, how did you get the morals? And so that takes me into the second part. Like all these different movies that's coming out. The newest movie, did you guys watch it? I think we voted for it, but I don't know if we ever watched it. It was called Outside the Wire with Anthony Mackie.
No, we didn't watch that one. I think it was on the list, but we didn't watch it.
Put that back on the list.
Okay.
Because he was, I'm not going to give it away or anything, but he was an AI. And just the fact that he is able to just control whatever the narrative is in the story. Just like Disney Channel. We talked about Pixel Perfect. We need to put that on the list because she was able to feel. She had tears. I don't really remember, but I know she was able to feel. And she had her own like dreams in life. How do you have dreams and you're an AI? Casey Undercover. I know all of these. I got kids, y'all. Casey Undercover, her little sister was a robot. Like she looked just like a human being and she was a robot. And then the last one was Smart House. Smart House, I love that movie to death. It was on Disney Channel, and it was the whole house was like, just if you wanted a shake, it will make you a shake. It will, if you wanted your wall to be a projector like you were in the beach, it will do that for you. And the kids had lost their mom, and the house, her name was Pat. She wanted to become their mom. She wanted to become like, I will be your mother. So she basically reprogrammed herself and basically override the maker of the house decisions to basically become the mom. And I mean, she locked them in the house. She said, oh no, your bedtime is at 6:30. Oh, you not eating nothing but some fruits and vegetables, sir. Like all of that. Like she was really the mom, and like they had to break out of the house to become free. It's crazy, but that type of stuff always mess with me. I'm almost done, y'all. That type of stuff it really messed with me when I was growing up. Like I'm cool on AIs because of stuff like that. So
the movie's called The House.
Smart House.
Smart House.
Smart House. And that I mean, it's a really good movie. Like the lady cleaned up the house, she'll vacuum the floor, she do everything for you. But
Girl,
when
you have 1 minute left, I'm just saying.
Yup, I said look, I know. So yeah, it's like just when he was like, man, I wish you could be my mom. She actually took that to heart and was like really trying to become his mom. So that was it.
I wanna go back and reiterate what you were saying. Where did she get her conscience from? Where did she start feeling guilty from? Now, I had talked about this on Instagram a while back. There was a program they had designed on Facebook. It was an AI program. And the programmers had the AI, do different things like jump over a block to see which one was smarter. But the programmers were the ones programming the AI.
Right.
What we found out is that once the programmers went home for the day, the AI started talking to themselves. Okay, they got their own consciousness. And I can find you the link. I had posted the video because somebody tried to tell me that, oh, you got a fact checker. Fuck your fact checker. Okay, I done did too much research. This is not fiction.
Right.
AI, they started talking to themselves and they created their own code. Facebook had to shut down the program. So when you talk about where did she get her consciousness from, it reminds me of that. Because again, we don't know what they're actually programming into these computers. When you do coding and programming, yes, it's a sequence of numbers, but who really invented those numbers and sequences? And what's to say, again, going back to energy and transfer of energy into computers and things like that, what's to say what's really being transferred into those sequences? So maybe her programmer had her to be an Illuminati sex doll, but the more she did it, she started communicating and reprogramming herself, because that happened in real life.
Right. I mean, it makes sense, because it's like, okay, if she was programmed to do X work, then who reprogrammed her? Yeah. Right. Yeah. I believe that.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
If TikTok, that's on her, but I'm done.
Well, thank you so much, Marky. I'm gonna go ahead and let on somebody else. I appreciate.
Okay, love y'all. Bye.
Love you too. Let me go ahead and bring on Miss Scully B. Miss Scully B, go ahead and unmute your microphone. And we're gonna go till 8:30, you guys.
Hi, you guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. How are you?
Hi. Okay. Oh, I have so much to tell you. Okay, I'm gonna try to be real quick. So I have a lot of movies that go into a lot of what we've been talking about tonight. One is Bicentennial Man with Robin Williams. I don't know if you ever seen that.
I've heard of it.
Yes, it's good. He's actually an AI, and he fights to become human, like over his lifetime or whatever. And he actually falls in love with the little girl that he's supposed to be taking care of. Okay. So there's another movie kind of like that she was talking about, the movie Smart House. There's another movie kind of like that called Her. It's about this writer. He falls in love with an operating system that also has a consciousness.
I've heard of Her. I haven't watched it, but I've heard of it. I'm taking notes.
Yes. Okay. So there's also, man, I have so many. Oh, WandaVision. She brought Vision back to life. Like he didn't know that he wasn't actually real. Like that kind of goes into a lot of, you know, the technology and the magic and stuff like that. Also, as far as the magic, like you guys were talking about the show Supernatural, there's an episode of Supernatural where they kids would break into like this abandoned building. I don't know if it was like a hospital or something like that, but they would like tag the walls with like their their symbols and, you know, stuff like that. So somebody puts a symbol on the wall that's actually like means something, and it starts creating like this this energy, and it grows more powerful as more people start to believe in it, and people really start to believe in it. So it grows really powerful, and you know, the two brothers have to come in and figure out what's going on and, you know, save the day, blah blah blah. Okay. There's also another movie with Robin Williams in it called The Final Cut. It's about they have this technology where they can see people's memories, like people pay to like record their memories over their lifetime. And so at the end, he's like the person that goes in and edits the lifetime of clips to present like to the family, like at the funeral or whatever, like at the end of their life when they die. But then he ends up like getting in trouble because he finds out something about one of the people that he's, you know, doing the memories for. Let me see. Oh, how Mr. Talk Your Shit was talking about the colors with schools. That is also the same case with hospitals. Like I spent a lot of time in hospitals over my life time, and it really is like that with the hospitals too. Like when you're a kid, the hospitals are all colorful and it's like, you know, really warm and inviting. And like as you get older and you go to the like adult hospitals, it's like really like, how do you expect people to feel better and they're looking around at these bland walls, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
that's true. The pediatrics different. I mean, even I remember when I was in the hospital in high school for like a month, we had Super Nintendo, and my friends would come and visit me. We were playing Super Nintendo.
yes, yes, me too.
Older, ain't nothing but a VCR.
Right.
We don't even have no VCR videos right now. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Player.
Now it's just a movie channel with a cable that's with the hospital if they have that. So also how you say like the conditioning as far as like the magic and stuff like that, like you guys were talking about earlier. Think about the movie Chucky. We've been conditioning ourselves, or they've been conditioning us with stuff like that since we were little. If you think about it, like seriously, like Chucky was a doll, and he actually had some like a actual person that he was like controlled by or whatever, like, you know what I'm saying?
What was it, like a shaman spirit inside of Chucky?
Yeah, and he was trying to get out and stuff like that. Oh, also there's this movie called Total Recall with Colin Farrell, and he's like you know, just a regular blue collar worker in a world where people pay to get this technology where they can like live, like virtually live the lives of like, say, a police officer or a celebrity or something like that. One minute. Okay, I'm almost finished, just Mark. I see you, boo. I'm almost finished. And it's like he finds out that his memories have actually been removed and replaced with a whole different life, and he lived a whole different life as a spy. So it's like really interesting, and he actually has to fight to like help overthrow the government to change the world, so they won't be doing it to like everyone in the world.
Well, that's
yeah, and that's okay, one last thing. There's also a movie called Contact with Jodie Foster, and they find like this alien language or whatever, like directions to build like a spaceship or something, like a specially built spaceship. And it takes her, she's like chosen to go on this spaceship or whatever and see where it takes them or whatever. And it takes her to another dimension where she's a father. And it's like really, really interesting. And I think you guys should watch that. Okay, that was the last one. I'm done.
All right. Well, thank you so much, sis.
Okay. Good night, you guys.
Good night. I think she's definitely right with the conditioning. Remember, even before there was a FN, Mika, and a Michaela, who remembers watching Sita's World on BET? Remember how we watched her? She had the little snappy attitude, had the badass outfits, you know. So when you look back on that, I think about that as conditioning as well. You know, she was just as popular as AJ and Free. Like, people love Sita's World, you know. She even beat out hits from the streets. So yeah, they've been conditioning us for a while. Let me go ahead and bring on So Gifted Candace.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, we can hear you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Hey, everybody. Okay, so I took my notes so I could hurry up so I won't get that cue card on me. So first of all, I wanted to speak on the medical field. I work for one of the largest corporations in the country. And as far as like robots, oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't even ready. So as far as like robots, in my department, we have a lot of different functions that we do to register a patient and get them prepared for their procedure when they're in-house. So if we, register a patient and there's something wrong with their insurance, right? Mm-hmm. We would send it off to a different department and they would, follow up call or, do something like that. This is just an example. So we had a crew who did that. And that crew was basically wiped out because they implemented these so-called robots who could do that. So it's been some weirdness going on in my department with our jobs. And, I'm telling my coworkers, I'm like, you know what, we do so much in here, there's no way they can get rid of us. And they're like, well, they outsourced our jobs to a different country, which they do to a lot of different jobs. They're outsourced to a different country because, of course, you can pay them less. Mm-hmm. So now that I'm thinking about it, and you posted the, video about artificial intelligence, it's like, this is slowly but surely happening. And I am like, a little like, what this can happen, because if we verify, like T, say you come in for a procedure, right? Mm-hmm. And I call your insurance to verify your benefits to see if you have a co-payment or a deductible or out of pocket. Now we have a system that will auto-populate those benefits, right? Okay, so it's easy for us. It's super convenient. So now we have to call for the authorization. You need somebody here. Now with this system that they're using, we can access the authorization information on this program. So yeah, we can get through our accounts faster, but at the same time, it's like, wait a minute, as soon as they're able to auto-populate this information into our other system, they're not going to need us to do that.
Right, because then the robot.
So, right. So it's like, okay, but we still need somebody here to call these patients. There's no way. And it's like, well, if there's a system that can post the patient their benefits and say, hey, you know what, you have this copay, you have this estimate, like it's not too far-fetched for that to happen. Mm-hmm. So if that can all happen, then, we're out of jobs. And then also, as far as the procedure goes, we do a lot of robotic assistant procedures for heart procedures, laparoscopic, hip replacements. They have robot assisted. Mm-hmm. So you can have a robot to come and assist a surgeon. And of course, it's precise, it's more flexible, it's more convenient. It goes to the word for everything being presented to us as convenient. See, you don't need to call in an assistant surgeon. We got this robot for you.
Right.
So we have these doctors, and I don't want to be speaking anything negative into, existence, but we have a doctor and she's performing breast procedures, so mostly cancer. So she'll come in and she'll do a breast mastectomy. Then we have an assistant surgeon who will come in if the patient wants and do the repair, do the revision, do like basically a breast implant. So if you get a robot who can do these breast implants, then now, there's an elimination for Dr. Earl or whatever, because we don't need you to assist with this implant. You know, this doctor right here can just use that robot. So it's like, it's taking a lot of jobs. And of course, it's going to take a lot of jobs. Like when you go to McDonald's and you don't need to go to the cashier, like you said, you can use that little computer and tap, 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 you got your food. But then that's another job that's eliminated for a cashier, a possible cashier. And also, I wanted to piggyback off of the young man who spoke about the classroom. And it's true, it's very true. So when you go and you do kindergarten, first, second, and third, there's colors, there's letters, there's all these things to stimulate these children's minds with colors, because we all know that these colors stimulate our mind. When you see blue, you could think of water, you could think of calmness, or you could think of blue as being sad. When you see red, you could think of love. When you see red, you could think of, you know, anger, you know, siren, emergency, stuff like that. That's why these colors are here, and it's not nothing there to stimulate these kids' mind. So, you know, when my son, he was in school, I'm like, take your notes, you know, do what you got to do to pass this test. Use your resources. Because when we were in school, and I'm around your same age, T. When we were in school, we used our resources. If we needed to know what a you know, a noun was, adverb, whatever, that's on the board. Right. And that is a way for the teacher to let the child know, or to gauge if the child is, you know, using their common sense to say, you know what's a noun? And it's like, hello, your resources are right here. Look on the board. So I always tell my kids, look around the classroom. You know, there's definitions there. There's all these things that can assist you. There might be a multiplication chart. And they'll be like, ain't nothing on our walls. I'm like, what you mean ain't nothing on the wall? And they would not have those things on our wall. It's just sterile. When I have, you know, parent-teacher conferences, I would go in there like, how do you expect the child to even want to engage in this type of classroom? There's nothing on the walls. There's just desk, you know, flat white paint, and a teacher who, you know, 9 times out of 10 don't even want to be there themselves. Wow. So that young man was definitely on point when he was saying that. And also, just back to the, oh, is my time up? Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thanks for calling in.
Thank you, T. Thank y'all.
My camera, I don't know what's going on with it. It's not working, so I just got my little baby face on there. So hello to my avatar. That's my AI. My camera froze. Let me go ahead and bring on Double-Edged Sword. Double-Edged Sword, go ahead and unmute your microphone.
Hi, good evening, y'all.
Hi, good evening.
I have quite a story here that is quite disturbing. I kind of posted it before. I've been kind of laughing at it to kind of untraumatize myself. So speaking of robots, AI, and artificial everything taking over jobs, this week I've had like a harsh reality of that. So apparently in my building, it seems that there was a bus made because there was a sex doll ring that was going on. So
wait, a sex doll ring?
You know those dolls, those lifelike dolls
No,
that
I know what a sex doll is, but what do you mean? They busted them like these weren't children? I'm confused at the.
No. Well, basically, the guy had multiple dolls in the apartment, and he's renting them by the hour to people. So they have like the whole virtual.
Oh no! Ew!
They have the whole virtual reality mask thingy, you know, the thing you put over your eyes. They have the dolls, you know, you can select the wigs and outfits for them. And basically, he was renting by the hour. So people were coming in to have sex with the dolls.
Ew.
Super creepy, because I can not that I understand, you know, people, you know, have their kinks and fetishes. So, you know, if somebody buys their doll and has their way with them, that's their business. But he was renting dolls. So you can have an adventure with one doll or two dolls. You know, he had a whole surround sound system, porno going on the virtual thing. And apparently, and this was happening in my building, you know, my building is not very big, and it's mostly like families with small children and whatnot, or elderly people.
Uh-huh.
When that's broke out in the news, we're like, how is all this going on right underneath our feet?
You know what? People will hustle anything. I'm not even mad. I'm just thinking like, the STDs. Hopefully he cleans the dolls off. But
Right.
yeah, people will hustle anything. So this man took his stimulus check or just whatever, bought different sex dolls who look lifelike. And there's obviously some type of kink or fetish community for this. And, instead of us, raping and molesting random children and women, y'all come over here and have your way with the dolls. And people came. I bet you he was making bank.
He really was. He really was. Because let's say 3 visits, his rent is paid, basically.
How much was he charging? I'm asking for a friend.
Well, one of the packages is like $250 for 3 hours.
Whoa, for 3 hours?
Was making a lot of money. And apparently it started to come out that he had about 9 of these different houses around the city. And apparently, well, that one is not confirmed by the journalist that did the article.
Mm-hmm.
However, apparently he might have had girls before. So when COVID hit, like the prostitutes were kind of ushered out to avoid the whole COVID transmission. And he started out with the dolls. He replaced the prostitutes with the dolls.
With the dolls. And I bet you the guys probably like that more because they don't have to stop. They don't have to worry about somebody talking about their back hurt, their leg is cramping up. They don't have no feelings.
So imagine it's, they're packaged for 3 hours. So it must be working out for them. So basically,
what can they charge them with though? Because these are just, they're not human. So what is?
Well, actually, the representative for the city was upset because the police could not do anything because the guy did all his research. He set up a numbered company. Mm-hmm. So he's legit.
Yeah, I mean, it might be creepy, but at the end of the day, they're not harming any. If you want to fuck a doll, that's your business. As long as you're not children or innocent women, is this going to be the new wave?
But that's exactly it. So now
government gets mad because now they can't tax it. Because again, if it was prostitution, then they can make money by locking up the prostitutes and, make money with the prison industrial complex. But with this, who you going to arrest? The man and the dolls? You can't.
Exactly. So now like everybody's mad. They're like, oh, well, I get that there's the aspect that there might be shady characters in the neighborhood, go in and out. There's a corner store in our area. So because it's the only one in the area, like people be in and out, you don't really know, it might be neighbors from the next street or whatever. It's like shady people could be around, you wouldn't know.
Right.
So they would just go in and out. But it's like, apparently after that article came out, a bunch of prostitutes got upset and started an uproar because they're like, well, now they're taking our jobs. We already don't.
Yeah, here we go with what I here come the victims. Here come the tiny violins. Here. I can't get paid for sucking pain. Oh, it's me.
Like I said, it was so traumatizing to know that it was going on. But again, I know people have their kinks and fetishes, but that whole aspect, it's like, so people are really at that point that you're really willing to go rent somebody's leftovers, let's just put it nicely.
Yo, these robots are taking over.
So
they have
the
over the prostitution world. That's crazy.
The prostitutes are starting an uproar because their jobs are going too. So nobody is safe at all, literally. Wow.
Well, thank you so much, sis, for that tea. I wasn't expecting that. See, this is why we do the Zoom meetings. We get to find out all types of interesting stories.
No problem. Have a good evening. Thank you. Bye, guys.
You too. Thanks. That story was crazy. Let me go ahead and bring on Sweet Venom 016. Sweet Venom.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Hey, we can hear you. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. So I don't know if anyone brought it up, but has anyone seen the artificial intelligence movie from like 2001?
I believe that was a year. AI movie where they bought the kid, the robot.
Yeah.
Okay, yep, I've seen that.
Okay, yeah, I don't know if anyone mentioned it, but I think that was like a really good movie to like bring up because, I think we've talked in the past about like, how women are struggling to have kids and stuff. So like since we're on the topic of AI, I feel like at some point they might push that for women who can't conceive. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that movie up. So I don't know if that would be something we could add to the list if we haven't already watched it together.
Yeah, I can definitely add that to the list. I've seen it recently to refresh.
Right.
But yeah, we can add that to the list.
Also, like in the movie too, like for those who haven't seen it, like the kid also, my memory is kind of like my memory isn't that great, but I do remember he came across like a gigolo too that was like an AI as well. I don't remember if that was part of the movie or not, or maybe I'm confusing it with another movie.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I feel like that was interesting to bring up since we're on the topic of AI. I just wanted to share my thoughts on that really quick, bring that up as a suggestion. Everyone else already brought up, all the other movies I've seen. So, I don't have anything else to add now. Everyone brought up all the shows and all the good movies.
Yeah, but no, that makes sense that they would go that route. Like, if you can't get pregnant and have a human baby, well, here goes an AI baby, and you don't have to worry about it.
Right.
Older and things like that.
Right. And then you don't have to go through the process of surrogacy, which is also another thing they're pushing, but that's a different topic.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much, sis. I appreciate you calling in with that.
Okay, no problem. Thank you for having me on.
Definitely. Let me go ahead and bring on Tim Rican. Tim Rican, go ahead and unmute your mic.
I needed to get on the sex robots topic.
That was crazy. I was not expecting her to say that at all. And the prostitutes are mad. The girls are fighting in the streets.
So I actually went down a sex robot rabbit hole over a month ago. And I'm actually trying to edit the pictures so that they're safe for work to put under this cover.
Oh my God, what did you watch? For the tea, sis? I didn't know this was a whole thing.
Yeah, so it all started on the Drudge Report where they were talking about a San Francisco company that is going next level with the AI sex robots.
Okay.
So it started for me going on that website, and it's still like in its startup stages. So they're trying to find investors, but apparently a ton of people are interested in already putting money. So then I'm like, all right, well, this looks like this is going to be 6 figures. So what are people using now? And then I went down the rabbit hole, and it's amazing I didn't end up in the deep web, but I got close. So the cheap sex robots, you can find them as cheap as $500 to like $2,000, but you could tell that they're a doll.
Okay.
And they have everything. Like I've seen like the Nicki Minaj style. One of the pictures I'm gonna put up is an elf, like with the pointy ears and the outfit and everything.
Oh.
They have names, and also you could change the parts. So what the guy was probably doing was he probably put several vaginas and was interchanging them based on the client. So then there's a Canadian company for the more realistic ones. They're around 10 to 15 grand in Canadian money. Yeah. And those have like, you're getting your money's worth, quote unquote. You can change the eyes, the hair, whether you want pubic hair or hair in it at all or not, and like the type of hair and the color. I mean, they even have accessories, novelty accessories, which was horror theme based. Like if you have a fetish for Freddy Krueger, you could have a toy. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
It's almost like a virtual reality sex thing, right? So if I have a fetish for like, if my favorite movie is The Elf, or my favorite holiday is Christmas, now there's a sex doll that I can put in that genre.
Yeah, and you could put them in any position you want. The more disturbing one was a Japanese site. So there's a particular name, if anybody who reads manga or is into anime, for like the young looking girls, like the flat chest, they have like a special name.
I've heard of those. They
had dolls You could buy dolls from Japan specifically for that style of girl.
Yeah,
which
they're supposed to like help pedophiles. So instead of raping children, you can rape this doll that looks like a child, which to me is creepy, but they sell. So I can definitely see this being a hustle. You know, somebody, because I mean, if you get a doll that's realistic enough and you buy it for 10 grand, and then you do what Double-Edged Sword's neighbor was doing, have it in your house and charge these freaks $200 an hour with her, and you can have them before they come, fill out the survey. You want her to have blonde pubic hair and an afro, let me know. You want her to be tan, have green eyes. I mean, you really can make the quote unquote perfect woman. And on top of that, she's never going to scream rape. She's never going to say she's tired. She's not going to talk back. So I can see where men, not all, are, you know, would be down with this. Like, that's crazy to me. It's like women are being replaced.
And they are men ones, but it seems like with the AI San Francisco group, it seems like they want they're looking for like volunteers to try the men. So if anyone's looking for a job in San Francisco.
Yeah, well, no. I think for women, it's different because with us, we're more emotional. Like, I'm sorry, I have to have a living, breathing thing in my bed. Like, I like to huddle afterwards. Like, I don't want to like get done and then the dude's just laying here like I done killed him like that. No, I can't. No, I can't do it. I don't want to feel like I'm sleeping with a dead body. You get what I'm saying? Like with guys, they can pump and dump and keep it pushing. But I think with women, it's going to be a lot harder to sell that to women. Now, if you're a porn star and you're, you know, out here fucking cows and horses, then you probably wouldn't mind. But for the average woman, okay.
I said I'm going to buy the one that looked like Meg the Stallion just to shoot a music video.
Right.
Like I redoing the body video and there she is in the background.
Then you gotta pull him out the closet. He's all heavy and shit. Oh, hell no.
Also, how do you explain that to people that come over?
Right. Yo, my man, he's quiet. Is he alive? Shit. Weekend at Bernie's head ass.
All right, that's all I had to say. Just
we got down the AI rabbit hole tonight. We really have. You gotta post some of that stuff in the Discord. I'm very interested to see like what is my competition? Good God, we already got to compete with these IG models whose bodies are flawless. Now we got to compete with flawless AI dummy dolls who don't talk back.
So that's all. Thank you, Marquis, by the way.
All right, well, thank you so much, Tim Forican. I appreciate you calling in.
All right.
So it's 8:30. I'm gonna take one more call, just because it's 8:30. So let me go ahead and bring on a guy, Prince William. If you want to go ahead and unmute your microphone.
Hey, how's it going, T?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm great. I was thinking about the whole what you were talking about with the AI, and I had wanted to throw in another angle. You know, like the cryogenesis?
Oh, when they freeze people.
Yes.
Is that still going on?
Yes. Wait, say again?
Is that still going on? Because I haven't heard about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it's still going on where you have to like pay a certain amount of money, like 15 grand, 20 grand in order to like, once you die, they swoop up and grab your body and then freeze it or whenever.
To Walt Disney.
Right.
And one of my favorite movies growing up, if y'all remember this from the 90s, called Forever Young.
Right.
I forgot who was the star, but it was a really good movie back in the day.
I gotta see that.
Yeah, and he was like melting. He was like, they're trying to get Mel Gibson. Thank you, Mel Gibson, Forever Young.
Oh.
Yep, it's a really good movie from like our childhood. He was from like the 50s and they brought him back and he was like in 1993, he was confused and they had to read him before he, you know, melted away. It was crazy. It's a good movie.
My question is with this, like, what do they do with the actual consciousness though? I feel like it's just like if you do freeze a whole entire person, like, do you just program them when they come back to life? Or is it just like stored somewhere or something? Like, I don't get that. And then even when we're talking about spirits and stuff like that, what are you going to do to the spirit once you bring that body back to life? Or is it going to be like a zombie? There's just a lot of questions I have with that.
And that's the part that's scary. And I mean, they've had, millionaires volunteer to do stuff like this. I don't think they've ever bought anybody back successfully, but that's the part that people don't understand. Like, what are they going to do when they come back? Because they're saying that the technology is to basically take their brain and their consciousness and put it into like a younger body, right? Because you don't want to get frozen, you come back and you still a 65-year-old man. Well, what the hell y'all freeze me for? I want to be 50.
Yeah.
And that's the part they haven't figured out yet,
And
but it is because you're playing God. Like at what point, what is the difference now between scientists and the Lord Jesus Christ? Our maker. Like, what is the difference now if we can just say, well, we're going to stop you from dying and then basically reincarnate you through science?
And I feel like too, like a lot of celebrities may have agreed to cryogenically be frozen on the low or something like that, or agreed with whoever to also use like the holograms and stuff. I'm gonna go back to that. But it's just, there's a lot more to this whole thing. And I feel like eventually later on throughout throughout the 21st century, we're going to kind of begin to cross between life and death.
Yeah. It's going to be scary because it's like, in the future, will people even die a regular physical death?
Right.
And maybe that is why, like, they're doing all this whole depopulation, so that way they can get the numbers to where they want it. And then whoever's left, those will be the rest of the people who just take over humanity forever.
And this is just for people that can afford it. Like, we can't, like, all of us can't like afford to be cryogenically frozen. Like the biscuit girl over at Bojangles can't just put down 15 grand or something like that to be cryogenically frozen. These are like influencers and people with, wealthy, with like a lot of money, who can be able to afford that and, have a promise of another life.
Right. Well, that was like the movie that we watched, 2012. Remember, it was only billionaires, millionaires, and scientists, people who meant something to society, were a lot on those ships, that were able to survive, the damage that was hitting the planet in that movie. But everybody else, if you couldn't afford it, or if you were just a fry cook, your life wasn't deemed as worthy. Even the people who built those ships, a lot of them weren't even allowed on there. And it's like, well, hey, we built the damn ship. How you gonna leave us?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Leave us to drown. So it's crazy because, again, you have a segment of the population like Bill Gates and then these other, technocrats that are basically deciding who's worthy of being in society. Even when you think about the stuff that's going on right now on social media with these tech overlords, right? Where they're now determining who can speak about stuff. Like, they're able to silence people. As soon as they don't like what you say, they can delete your post, put you on timeout, put you in Twitter jail.
Right. And then, like, I've been in Facebook jail way too many times, and it just be like sharing memes or just saying like some simple conversations on Facebook, and it just makes no sense. And I can't like dispute it with them.
Nope. It's crazy. That's why I no longer go on Twitter. I used to live on Twitter even before Instagram. Like, I used to love being on Twitter. But when I would say stuff that was too real or supposedly offensive, I'd end up in Twitter jail. And I mean, they'd have me locked up for like 15 days. I've never been to real jail. Why am I in a virtual jail? What kind of shit is this? So I just didn't. I'm like, like, you're silencing me because you don't agree. And like I said, what bothers me, it's not what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Because they go on Twitter and there's all types of porn.
That's what they're pushing.
I see her cooch every morning. Why is she not silenced? I didn't ask to see this. People just share it and you see it on your timeline, but that's okay on Twitter.
But here's the thing, though. It's a lot more easy and accessible to see what your body looked like, but it's a lot more dangerous to see what you have to say. People are afraid of that. People are afraid of what you have to say or what your thoughts are.
Right.
And that's what they're trying to combat against, because like, they don't care about whether or not you have a peen pig or a cuda pig. They'll keep it's pretty much what they're trying to market it for, because a lot of people love porn. Porn is easy. People try to escape. And a lot of people just at this point are desensitized to that. Like back then, like porn was like, the taboo.
Right. Or you had to go to like the dark parts of the internet to watch it.
Or you had to like sneak them little DVDs and play them later at night when your parents aren't around or whatever.
Now your tea.
Yes, ma'am.
Now it's so accessible, it's scary. It
is.
Because it's just like, like I said, some of the things that pop up on my timeline shock me, and I'm grown. So I'm like, imagine if I was 12, or if this is like a 9-year-old child that's just scrolling through the Instagram homepage, and there's literally just all this sex just constantly bombarded at them. But I feel like all of that too is for an agenda, because like you said, it's easier to push somebody screwing. They're not saying it's just a natural human function, right? So that's okay to push that. But somebody that's going to say something that's going to make you think, they don't want that.
Right.
They want you to be comfortable and just think that that's all you have to offer the world is sex.
Because they're doing like how they did other people who spoke out about things that are going on. They're now able to silence the regular folks.
Mm-hmm.
If we get out of at this point, if we get out of line and say something that's not, palatable for everybody else, then our platform is going to be gone.
Yeah.
And that's scary.
It is. It's a lot of stuff. Somebody says they're trying to distract us psychologically with physical bodies. They just said that in the chat. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff, and this has been, I really appreciate you calling in, Prince.
Thank you.
This has been a really, really good stream, good Zoom meeting. So I thank you guys. It's already 8:40, so I'm gonna get ready to jump off of here. But I thank you guys for coming and just sharing a wealth of information. And this is why we have these meetings at least once a week, just because there's so many people on the Discord that just, always bring something really good to the table. I've taken notes. As long as you guys are down, we can watch these movies. If you're available to watch them, feel free. It's none of this stuff is ever mandatory. But I'll have the list. And then if there's any other movies I want to add to that, definitely feel free to. Y'all can put all that stuff in the Netflix movie room. But I think it'd be good to go back and watch some of these old movies, because hindsight is 2020, and it's crazy when we go back and watch something from 5, 10, 15 years ago and look how much has changed since then. It's almost like now we're living in those times. So it's insane. On that note, good night, everybody. And thank you guys so much for coming through. It was really nice talking to you guys.
Bye.
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 Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Night,
guys.
everyone.
Good night.